Hello bunny fans, welcome to another episode of the Bunny Coach podcast.
Did you know that most rabbit injuries don't actually happen during bonding? They happen when rabbits that aren't bonded accidentally get access to each other. And that's why something that feels really safe, keeping your rabbits completely separate, can actually be riskier than people realise. If you've got unbonded rabbits right now, this might sound familiar. 2 separate spaces, rotating free roam, cleaning twice, making sure one rabbit is fully away before the other one comes out, closing doors, checking barriers, constantly thinking about who's where. And at first that feels responsible, but after a while that just becomes normal. The problem is that setup isn't actually fixing the problem, it's managing it. Nothing is changing for your rabbits, they're not learning to live together and they're not building a bond. You're just maintaining separation every single day. Most of the injuries that I see don't happen in planned bonding sessions, they happen in the in-between moments. A door gets left open, a barrier isn't as secure as you thought, or someone forgets to double check, and suddenly you've got 2 unbonded rabbits in the same space with no plan in place. Now here's something really important to understand. If that happens, it's completely normal for them to fight. They're in each other's territory, they don't have a relationship or a hierarchy, and they don't know how to communicate yet. So that reaction, it's not them being bad rabbits, but those fights can make bonding harder afterwards. I've seen it so many times and it's more common than people think. It's just something that people don't talk about a lot. And I just want to say this as well, if this has already happened with your rabbits, you are absolutely not alone. I've seen everything from torn ears to bites needing stitches, even cases where a rabbit was left with a permanent limp after a fight. So if you're in that situation, this isn't me saying you've done something wrong. This is something I see more often than people realise. And those rabbits can still go on to be successfully bonded. And in fact, a lot of the rabbits that I've bonded here or helped other people bond have actually been in that exact situation. It can just make things a little bit more tricky and a bit more important to approach properly, but it is absolutely possible. But that's why, if you can avoid that situation in the first place, it's always better to start bonding before it escalates to that point. They can be really determined to get into each other, and the longer you leave it, the more chance there is that they'll get into each other. And there's another piece that people don't talk about enough. Yes, bonding takes time, but so does what you're doing right now. You're already doing 2 separate free roam routines, giving 2 rabbits separate attention, cleaning 2 setups, constantly manage everything in your head. That's not the easy option, it just feels familiar. Because once rabbits are bonded, everything gets simpler. 1 shared space, 1 routine, less cleaning, less stress, and a better life for both you and your bunnies. And I know what you might be thinking at this point, but won't they just fight if I put them together? And yes, they might try to, because again, they don't have that communication or structure yet. But bonding isn't just putting 2 rabbits together and hoping for the best. With the right setup, guidance and understanding of their behaviour, you can step in at the right moments, support their interactions, and help them learn how to communicate and establish their hierarchy, which is so important to them, without it escalating into full fights. And I've seen this with rabbits where the situation felt completely unfixable. Just very recently, I had a client who was genuinely at the point of considering rehoming because the fighting had become so severe. And that's not an unusual story for me to hear either. She was very stressed and she was very afraid about putting them together again. But once she understood what she was actually looking at and how to read and understand their behaviours, what was communication versus what was escalation, everything changed. She actually said that finally understanding their behaviour was a complete game changer. And I've worked with so many people who have gone on to successfully bond their rabbits with the right support. And one thing I hear again and again is they wish they had done it sooner. This is often after months or even years of keeping them apart. Because it just doesn't change things for the rabbits, it completely changes day-to-day life for the owner too. No more parkouring to get to the bathroom, no more dividing your time in 2, no more feeling guilty because neither rabbit has the space, the time or the company that you wanted for them. After all, you got that second rabbit so that they could be friends, right? But it's not about forcing them together, it's about understanding them well enough to guide the process properly. The reason people stay in this cycle isn't laziness, it's because starting feels overwhelming. There's fear of doing it wrong, of there being fighting, of not knowing what to do next, so it gets put off. But avoiding it doesn't remove the problem, it just keeps you stuck in a loop that's already costing you time, energy and stress every day. At some point, something has to move forward, and that doesn't mean doing everything perfectly. It just means having a clear, structured way to start so you're not guessing. That's exactly why I created my free class. For people like you who are stuck in that cycle. It walks you through how to set up a neutral space, even in a free roam home or small space, how to plan your time so bonding doesn't take over your life because it doesn't have to, how to feel more confident about starting. This is for you if you're the kind of rabbit parent who doesn't want to guess. You'll find the link in the show notes. I hope you find it helpful and it helps you feel more confident about embarking on a bonding journey with your bunnies and moving towards a happily ever after for all of you.
I hope you found that helpful. Thanks for listening to the Bunny Coach podcast. I look forward to chatting to you next time.